I'll ask one last question from me. If your child grows up, they could say one thing that you've taught them. Do you want them to walk away with one thing from your parenting? What would you like that to be?
I guess it's more of a concept. And again, I spent about 13 years in law enforcement, and part of that time I spent in a school setting. And the one thing that I saw with it was an alternative school, so the kids that got kicked out of regular school came to my school, and we had a great staff there. It was a great time. But the one thing that I saw among most of the young men was a lack of competence. And I heard a pastor say it years later. Competence breeds confidence. Teach a kid to do something, and I promise you, they'll build on that. Confidence is bred from capability.
That's so good.
You know what I mean? I mean,
So
you guys are dads. You know what I mean? And I wrote this down. Men have a tendency to massively overcompensate for the aspects of life that they lack. Women hide it. Men, you know what I mean? You guys know. So yeah, but like women hide it, and they do a great job at hiding it. Men, we build up a big giant ornate fancy wall, and we compensate for it. And that turns into a bunch of ugly stuff if you don't catch it early. We're all pretty young kids, and we're kind of on that level where we got to start catching that stuff early. A lack of a meaningful, healthy relationship modeled in a young man's life can lead him to force affection, to force love, and to force respect in relationships. If you don't catch that early, that turns into a Netflix documentary. You know what I mean? So if there's anything I would do that I would want my son when I'm gone to take with him is that I taught him something. Yeah. I want to teach that man to fish. That's a little man and that's a man in a little boy's body. I want to teach him how to do the things that, number one, that I know how to do, and the stuff that I wish my dad taught me how to do. Yeah. So again, competence breeds confidence. Yeah. Does that make sense?
I want my kids to know they're loved.
Yeah.
That's it. Above, I like everything you said is great and amazing, and I don't disagree with any of it at all. Like for me personally, like it's just I want them to know that they're loved. Because like our age group in America has one of the highest rates of suicide in the world. Like our demographic, male, 30s, 40s, some of the highest suicide rates in the world. And I think that we as men put a lot of pressure on ourselves. I think we put a lot of stress on ourselves.
Yeah.
I think that we do have innate things to, particularly as you get into a relationship, particularly as you start to have children, this innate thing to provide for, this innate thing to like provide security for, whatever that looks like. I think that can look, it could be physical security, but can also be emotional. Like can be security doesn't just
general provision.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think we can put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And I think it's also very easy for males in particular to have this mindset of like it's me against the world. And I know I've had that thought several times throughout my life of like it's me against everybody. And like in those moments, most of the time, thankfully, it was like, all right, let's go. Like, let's see what everybody else has. Because I'm going to push, right? But I don't want my children to ever have a moment, whether they're 3 or 10 or 16 or 45, where they don't know that they are absolutely unconditionally loved. Because I think that just that, if they always and forever know that, I think that can have a massive impact on the trajectory of their lives.
It's a baseline.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Of we're always here. We will always love you. And they're going to live their own lives.
Yeah.
They're not going to do everything I want them to do. They're going to make plenty of the same mistakes I made.
That's right.
And I'm well aware of it. And I can tell you that I'm prepared for it, but I'm probably not. And but it doesn't matter because I love them and they're my sons. So
that's right.
Gonna be here.
Good. That's good.
Teach them the best I can.
my perspective is for a little girl, but I think it would apply across the board. I think I most want her to know that she was prayed for before she was anything. We prayed nightly for her, and she's continued to be prayed for every night. And the why that's important is not I guess necessarily like the spiritual implications of it, but the reason she was prayed for is because she is so valued.
Yeah.
And I want her to know how much value she has, because if she believes that about herself, she will require that from others, and she will not be treated as if she doesn't have value. So that's I hope that that's the thing that she, through all that, if I can impart, and I hope that I will try to do that to my son, although it might be colored a little differently too. But like for her, specifically for a little girl, I want her to walk away knowing that she has value. She was prayed for. She was asked for. She has a place here. And I kind of end that prayer all the time with, I believe that she'll be known for her kindness, and that she'll teach me a new way to be kind to others and to my wife. Yeah. Yeah, that's my heart for her.
That's good.